You're listening to I'm Telling You. You're listening to I'm Telling You.
Hey fam, welcome back to another episode of I'm Telling You.
Telling you.
As always, your amazing host, Philly D.
Mr. Gemini.
Quickly quack a fact checker, Miss JD.
Yeah, and as always, if you want to continue that conversation, because we would like you to do that, you can reach out to all three of us at ity@directionsandmusic.org, or individually, you can hit up Gemini, GEMINI, at directionsandmusic.org, or Philly D, PHILLY. Dude, we even practiced that, man. That's awesome. Directionsandmusic.org. Yeah, for first-time listeners, this is a 30-plus year friendship of organic, raw conversations with movie quotes, dad jokes, dad quotes, movie jokes, yeah, whatever.
We just turn the mics on and we're just our normal jackass selves.
Yeah, we usually have, either this conversation between you and I, and then we got our fact checker. Tonight we actually got a buddy of ours in the studio, which is super dope. Jimmy Breeze, you want to say hello to the people out there?
Hey now, Jimmy Breeze. Hey, thanks for letting me come down and check out the Studio B.
Dude, absolutely, bro. I mean, hey, you helped us you helped us to cross over into that video aspect, so we're starting to get some video content rocking and stuff, which is pretty dope. But we're growing, which is super awesome. And so of course we're gonna have somebody in hook us up,
Producing a couple videos, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because that's like your thing. You've been you did like your own YouTube channel and started producing your own videos and stuff, and then you guys kind of met and started talking about stuff, and then we got all together.
Well, it was cars really that brought us together the first time, because you were out riding your MG.
I was riding in my old car and you were riding on your motorcycle.
That's right. And I was with a couple of old cats I met at a Walmart.
Yeah, you said about this. You mentioned the podcast, and here I am.
Isn't it funny how that happens?
Because you know what? Like, I think our raw organic nature and the fact that we do love our community as much as we do, we really do get ourselves out there, and we put ourselves out there, and it comes back. I feel so.
It's real.
Yeah, I mean, I have no problem like approaching somebody I've never met before.
I heard that about you.
And just, especially if I have a curiosity about something. And actually, as it turns out, you actually called us over. You were like, yo, man, check this out.
Oh, I was just
you were just loving the day. And you were like, what are you guys doing? You hanging out? Like, awesome. I just came. I'm trying to get this thing running again. And like, you had just put a bunch of work into this. It was, what year is that MG?
It was 1977 MG that was found in the barn and got put back together, and it was like on one of my first rides, and I had probably 200 miles on it, and I met you. That video was out, huh?
Yeah, no. I watched that video where you had done some work on it, and you kind of used that as a way to branch out and make other videos from it. But like the whole, I guess, build up to getting that thing road ready again, like you made a video, like I forget how long it was.
It just comes down to like getting my hands and working on things and making them run again or work better. That's all. So
that was one of the first times I experienced like what your capabilities when it comes to making video, and I was like, oh, it's pretty nice. I mean, like the whole thing all together. Even if I was just watching it for the value of the information that I'm getting from it, and like, hey, I love MGs. That's a really cool niche. Not many people are into that. I can't even really drive one because I feel like I'm too big. Like it just, I mean, you're pretty close to that too. Like
it's a rickety little car,
but they're fun. I mean, I always say that like I really cry for the day that internal combustion engines just die.
You know what, man? Well, no, think about this. Was it
the old school, like the retro?
Yeah, remember iRobot or whatever when he still had
electronics.
the freaking crotch rocket, his little rice burner. Dude, so, I mean, even in a world with all these, whatever fusion electric something or others, he's just like, nah. He's like, does this run on fuel? Oh my god!
It runs on petrol, man, like it's supposed to.
I know. She's like freaking out. This is a freaking bomb on wheels.
Oh, so for real? I mean, why don't we drive around in hydrogen cars? Why we gotta go fucking battery?
Well, so I think, but I'll be honest. I think that's the new setup is that they're running hydrogen cells so that you don't have to run a battery.
By the way,
So that you already cracked mine, bro. But I think that's the thing is so instead of trying to charge batteries, they're using a hydrogen cell to make the juice go so it turns, makes the electricity, which then drives the car. So you're gonna, I think on the average, you're gonna get way more mileage out of your.
To actually utilize a combustion engine is what I'm saying. To utilize a combustion engine to produce, to produce your torque and horsepower, to produce your actual drivetrain would be tiny explosions.
What is your means of locomotion?
I like how he said that. That's pretty good.
I mean, I understand the love affair with electronic motors because the torque curve it's non-existent. It's just you have power the minute you turn it on.
Exponential and linear.
Yeah. So I mean, I get that aspect of it, but I always look back at the limitations and the fact that most of these things are basically running on coal because most of them people don't have. Not everybody that owns one, I'm sure, has solar panels on their house. Maybe they do. I don't know. I'm not judging.
Or some form of a turbine, because I mean it could be wind powered.
Or if you're not, like that power is still coming from basically it's coming from oil or it's coming from coal or natural gas,
nuclear.
Could be depending on where you live.
On the East Coast, we do have some nuclear.
I'm just saying in general, like we may get a little bit subsidized from certain areas, but.
Dude,
I think in this area in general, we don't really necessarily run on nuclear. I don't think.
I mean, it's right around the corner. We should be.
I mean, most sources of energy are not wind turbine. They're not nuclear. They're not, they're basically giant factories burning coal or burning oil to generate electricity.
Yeah, energy is just a big deal, right? So I think it's the sun gives it all the energy to us.
Well, that was the whole thing that I'm just fascinated with about Tesla and how all that stuff just disappeared. I mean, he was working so hard to basically find a way to pull energy off the naturally occurring energy that's around us in abundance.
Free energy, not even pull it, but also distribute it.
Well, and that was his biggest downfall was that he was pitching it to people that wanted to make money.
He was ahead of his time, right?
Yeah, right. How dare you be selfless?
Even now it wouldn't work. I mean, forget about it. If you found a way to do that, I mean, you'd basically be wiped off the map. I mean, they find a way to set you up, get you arrested, get you killed, get something. I mean, I feel like
easy there, X-Files, bro.
No, but I mean, that was kind of the story behind Nikola Tesla. I mean, he had gotten to a point where he wasn't even living in his house anymore. He was going from hotel room to hotel room. And he was always going to different, like he was really trying to get this out there. And he was one of those guys that was so nervous, like you want to say like people that never use a bank and they put money in their mattresses and stuff. Right. Like that he would keep all his files with him at all times. Like all of his drawings, all of his notes. And from what I had heard, so he would always pick out a hotel and it had to be, the room had to be divisible. The number of the room had to be divisible by 3, 6, and 9 or 3 or something.
Yeah, well, because if it's of 3, 6, or 9, then it's of 3. So it had to be like third floor, room number like 306 or something
to that effect. Yeah, and then he would basically camp himself out in these rooms for whether it was weeks or months at a time, and
just work on stuff.
And he had files, like closed files and open files that he was still working on. Like he was constantly into something. Like he couldn't shut his mind off.
Yeah, pretty much.
And he wanted to give everything away.
Yeah, he did.
And that was the biggest problem because I think it was Westinghouse or something that he came up to. And he was like, that wasn't that the guy that actually fronted him the money?
No, JP Morgan.
JP Morgan.
Yeah, it was Morgan who did it. Yeah, which was
there was
also
something with Westinghouse too. It had something to do with the free energy that Westinghouse was not a fan of.
That was JP Morgan.
That was JP Morgan. Okay.
Yeah, not to say that because there was an initial investor, and then it got swapped over to JP Morgan, and then it's when it can be proven. However, the timeline of events expresses the idea of. Once Morgan found out what Tesla was really up to, because he went from like a 90-foot tower to 180 foot, like he doubled it.
He just changed his mind halfway through because he was like, he
Well, he saw it
the
as
story that I heard was he really was pushing to get the energy out as far as you could, and just he wanted to give it away as freely as possible.
well, pretty much you want to go from like doing it as a test to just like screw this, let's just hook it up.
And I guess he figured that if he doubled his height, like doubled the size of his tower, which was, if you think about it, doubling the height of something means what? That's 8 times growth, really. I mean, you're talking about square cube law. I mean, so that's.
I mean, yeah, if you want to, yeah,
that's
correct.
That's more than twice as much money, I would think, right? I mean, to do that. I mean, that's the story that you hear is that he wanted to double the height of his tower. But think about that. That's not twice as much money because then your base has to be even larger, right?
Well,
I mean,
and that was the thing is where, from what I understand on the story, from what was given as the startup, it was supposed to basically finish everything off and, you know, be extra for, you know, so you can run it, get the test going. I mean, it was all of it.
And I guess
And yeah, and
they wanted to keep it in house and keep it private, and then still be able to make money off of the energy.
well, and that was the thing is, so they were basically funding a way to figure it out, whereas Tesla was just like, screw this, took all the money and was just like, we're gonna do this. So, you know, let's get past the whole freaking trial and run and just make it happen, Captain. Pretty much. Again, that's what I'm to understand.
So I don't know. I going back to our original conversation about I guess that would be in the green room about your guy. I'm sorry. Elon Musk does.
Yeah, you said, I don't hang out with him on the weekends. We ain't playing squash. I mean,
No, but you're a fan. I mean, generally speaking.
well, again, I like to use him as a guideline or a judging component. He's a marker for what I judge as things going on. So instead of paying attention to all the news and letting myself be bombarded by it, I look at a few individuals who I can trust their forethought and ineptitude to be kind of like, you know, yeah, it may seem like, but you know, we're gonna get here, people. Like, come on, let's.
I have trouble putting him in the same camp with Nikola, but that's just me.
I mean, I said in context of this current environment, the atmosphere, the way things are, I myself put him on that relative visionary type level. So maybe not in the same exact regard of how, but overall outcome. I would say that he's the new, you know, he's the new Tesla Einstein type.
Just big ideas.
Yeah, because I mean, not to say
Well,
he's
he's
like
found a way to
Einstein,
capture people's wallets anyway. I mean, that's for sure.
but he's not.
Plenty of people are willing to invest in Tesla.
Well, right, and he's not doing it in a fashion where he seems to be like bleeding people for it. They're just like, no, this is a great idea. We got to get into this. Like, you know, they're.
Oh, you mean like overcharging for it?
Well, just in general and everything. I mean, he's very risky with what he does, but he's very intelligent, and there's many ways for him to. He's basically hedging multiple bets at the same time.
Sure.
So that even if one or two don't exactly pan
Well,
out,
and he's playing the wave of, you know, renewable, you know, safe,
dude, he's
non-toxic energy
he's not,
production.
Like,
which
he's doing like, all right,
we
so,
haven't quite figured out yet, and that's the funny thing is like to me that's a whole smokescreen. That
so
the
Elon
electric car doesn't fix the problem that we have.
A
That's my problem.
reusable rocket. Come on.
Well, so here's the
Well,
thing:
I mean, that's what he's going for. But he's still trying to
that's-
recreate something we've already done. We were talking about that before, the V2.
so he's not only just doing rocket and, like you said, reusable. Dude, he's also making affordable housing on the go. You know, kid houses that are dirt cheap, but with actual square footage. You know, he has a boring company that doesn't only work now here on this planet, but as they travel to Mars.
Oh, wait, you were showing me right the video about those modular homes that they build, and they're basically like they can box them up into like this, right? Weren't you showing me that?
I mean, I show you so many freaking videos
I know,
about
but
that
they,
kind of
they
stuff.
were like, yeah, like you could fold them up in like a little cube and just drop them in the middle of the desert somewhere and like open the thing up and basically like you drive a couple screws and the whole house is just boom.
I think that was for disaster response, things like that.
yeah,
I think that's where they were. Yeah, that's where they were trying to find their niche, I guess, which is genius.
Shelter.
That stuff, I would live in one of those.
But that's the thing,
It's
though.
pretty
so
sweet, actually.
To
Sorry.
continue, well, yeah, but to continue on, he's not just doing certain things to that aspect. Like there's more than just progressive thinking and producing components that allow for revenue for his companies so that he can go back and forth and fold the money and move things around and hedge his bets and do all these things and have cash flow. And like, I mean, he's very risky but intelligent with what he's doing, that he's constantly covering his butt. It just so happens that in doing that, he's also being progressive and forethinking on things that would really not just help us grow and move forward, but also carry over in that financial aspect. So, I mean, it's multi-layered of what, that's why I'm like, dude, I personally really feel what he's doing he's trying to move us towards an intelligent, evolving species. And, you know, understanding that, yeah, we do evolve around money. We do have like laws and rules and guidelines, and, you know, there are certain ways we have to interact, and there is psychology and sociology, and there's all these different pieces to it. And I really see him as being that multi-layered visionary that can take all that in.
That's exactly it. Like, I see him more as a visionary. And that's what I'm saying in some ways.
But that's what Tesla and Einstein were doing,
man.
I
feel like he's a genius in the choices that he's made and the people that he's surrounded himself with. And I think that's a lot of it. And it's not to take anything away from that, but like I was saying about Thomas Edison, like he didn't necessarily create all those inventions. He was smart enough to come together at a time and have a certain basically pathway that he wanted to research. But he had a group of scientists that were already skilled in their own right to help him. You know, and in a way, I think if you were to look within the employ of you know, Tesla's company, that you would find some much more intelligent than him. Because he's the guy that's in the limelight. He's the guy that's, you know, he's the figurehead of the company. But I'm sure there's a lot of really, really intelligent guys working under him that kind of go unspoken.
I mean, but yeah, because he's intelligent enough to pull that collection together.
Because he seems to me much more the idea guy. I mean, let's dig a tunnel was his joke. Like, let's do it. Let's dig a tunnel. Why? Because we can.
No, I disagree with that. I believe his tunnel.
I mean, there was a purpose to it eventually, but it was just
no. I think his first notion to dig tunnels was actually more about to alleviate traffic flow in Los Angeles.
Well, I mean, and create more viable living spaces as well. I mean,
so from his one Joe Rogan conversation, you know, Joe Rogan asked him, he's like, you know, what was your influence on that? And he's like, I was literally sitting in traffic in Los Angeles, and I'm just thinking to myself, like, the only way we're going to be able to sustain this, the only way we're going to sustain this growth and still be able to continue on, he's like, we're going to have to make additional passageways. Well,
like, you know, alternate routes of travel.
We can't exactly continue to go up because it's not going to be stable in that fashion. I mean, we're going to have like 4 freaking layers of highway. So he's like, the only other way is to go down.
Like, why do I have to go all the way through town to get across town?
Well, you're also taking.
If I want to go from west to east or east to west, like, why can't I just, you know, tunnel under the ground and just go straight there?
As well as if you're trying to traverse on top, you're losing real estate. So that's viable space to have more people, which, you know, coincides with the idea of needing to alleviate the more people. So it's. You know, it's an ipso facto on that one.
But I guess my question would be is like in that particular endeavor, was he the engineer at the forefront doing the math to figure out like, okay, how big a tunnel can we create and how big a shell do we have to create out of concrete to make it, you know, so that it won't cave in and that it has, does it have to be rebar? Does it have to be spray concrete? Does it have to be, you know, aggregate? Like, all these little things factor into, like, did he work all that out?
So, yeah, I would say he's not the engineer in those capacities. However,
he's the big idea guy.
He's probably leading those conversations where he's like, well, hey, did you guys think about, you know, what about this? And, you know, so he's very much that outside of the box. You know, hey, this might be a dumb question, guys, but did we think about this? And
like, but if he said, all right, I need a shelter. Where else can we go? In ground. How do you go in ground? You tunnel. So that's how it began, or that's how it's going to end.
Well, no, I mean, with the tunnel, definitely it was something about traffic that he was trying to alleviate Because he was talking about,
Well, it wasn't he was trying to alleviate it. The way he expresses it is his brain sees problems and then he tries to engineer ways to work around it.
right.
So he thinks of things in a logical manner. It's like, well, you're trying to maintain real estate, so you can't exactly go up. Well, there's only one other option, down. Well, if you go down, then now you're talking about, well, okay, on that scale of creating these passageways.
We need hover cars. That's the problem.
Well, but he starts to go into the fact of it's going to cost this. It takes this much time. All right, so really what we need to do is, let's get a coefficient of something or other that makes this a more productive manner. So while he's not necessarily the mathematician or engineer on all of it, he certainly is thoughtful enough to realize it's like, hey, there needs to be a cost benefit analysis and all of this as far as time, effort, energy, money, everything, timeline. I mean, all of these factors come into play, and how can we utilize that to make it efficient? Do we drag it out time-wise? Do we shrink it time-wise? Do we double our efforts? Do we shrink our efforts? Do we, he's very much, I see him as very much a visionary in that capacity of he can see the big picture and deconstruct it.
I mean, so maybe we're actually saying the same thing. Because I feel like he's a big picture guy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Dude,
Yeah.
and that's what Tesla and Einstein did, but just from a different perspective.
Correct.
While they were more of bringing forth knowledge,
He's trying to actually manifest something out of it.
right?
He's much more, he wants to be able to create something that he can,
Yeah, he's not trying to
he
figure
can in
out.
turn sell or give or improve somehow something that's already there.
Well, yeah, he's not trying to figure out how to do it so much as have how to figure out how to do it come to fruition.
Well, that's an invention.
Again, whether he's the direct influence because he's the one that generated it or he's the one that brought that ability to come about.
That's the question. Was it the guy that finally figured out how the light bulb was most efficient, or was it? You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
Where when you perfected it, like that was a whole nother. And like we were able to do it and keep it lit for 30 seconds before it would overheat and just cook. And how many times did that happen? But when Edison was asked about his 1,000 failures at making a light bulb, his response was, I didn't fail 1,000 times at making a light bulb. I found 1,000 ways not to make a light bulb.
Yeah, dude, I know what it's not.
I mean, fair enough, right?
Well, I'm a firm believer when
that's where I look at him more as like somebody who was a great businessman and a great leader and a great organizer and stuff like that. And not that he did. That's not important in its own right. I don't think that necessarily.
That was a lot of negatives. Not that it's not important. Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Don't hold back. Tell us how you really feel.
That's why I'm saying I kind of look at him in a different light. That he was kind of like the organizer of a lot of these things. That sure he had his own ideas and stuff, but I think if it wasn't for the core group of people that he surrounded himself with, which was a smart business sense in its own. I don't think Einstein had that business sense.
Well, so that's what
Einstein would walk out of his house regularly with no pants on.
So what I'm hearing is you feel Elon is more of an organizer than originator like Tesla or Einstein, if that sounds more appropriate.
I think he's an innovator as well, but I think he's definitely more of the strangely enough personality, and because he does have a kind of an odd personality, but he's the front man of his organization. I don't think he's, just because you have an innovative idea doesn't mean you know how logistically to make that function.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
I have this idea, but I don't know the math behind it.
So it's all the smart people around him.
Can you figure it out? Somebody else figures it out, and they go, "Hey, it is possible."
Well, yeah,
and it's like, well, who invented that? It's kind of it was a collaboration.
It's not one dude at Google figuring this stuff out, man.
Right.
There's a whole bunch of people writing code and shit.
It's Legion,
Yeah, dude.
I am Legion. I am Legion.
I am Groot.
I am Groot.
Yeah, I mean it's.
So apparently, beer made without hops, it's not pronounced grout. It's pronounced grout.
Groute?
Strangely enough, it's pronounced grout.
Et tu groute?
Like what you put in between your tiles. That's kind of funny.
That I don't want to drink that. That does not sound
What, grout?
delicious at all. Probably chock full of minerals.
If that's all you had, you'd be drinking grout.
No, we
What
good.
was that?
I mean, I'd probably eat tree bark.
It wasn't allowed to be.
Dirt.
It wasn't allowed to be called beer unless it had these specific 5 ingredients or whatever. That was the
Water,
Purity
yeast,
law.
malt.
The German purity law, and I always forget how to pronounce that. It's a rising. I don't even know.
You making fun of Germany now?
No,
What the
not at
hell?
all. I just don't know how to speak the language, and it's you know how they just kind of tack words onto words, and
9?
to make a word that doesn't exist, they just tack words onto words to make it right. I mean, that's
I'll get there some way.
yeah. I mean, Volkswagen,
Far from New York.
Farfignugan. Yeah, that's a good one.
I don't know how to respond to that.
I don't know where I
Really?
went with that. I'm really sorry.
You, in fact, are not.
I'd like to preface. Wait a minute, it's too late for that.
No, I mean, that's appropriate. We're almost halfway. So, I mean, that's,
73% of the time.
it's usually around the halfway mark that you preface and carry into about 3/4. And then usually somewhere in the back half, you start to let me speak again. That's usually
No,
when
you
it's,
can't speak. You're not allowed.
But I mean, you try. You try. I'll give you try to turn the mic over. You're very much just like and it's I'm done. I'm done. You know what?
I'm done.
You know what else? And it's okay. Apparently, we are not done. Let's just go ahead and continue on then.
So, JD, how you doing?
How's that Cessna situation coming?
Coming in for a landing?
She's so our fact checker has super dope headphone set, but with the side piece.
The boom mic that comes out.
Yeah, pretty much like she's literally working in a tower. She's going to be bringing in small jetliners and stuff. And Echo 1794, go ahead and report your altitude. Like, we're approximately 3,000 knots. I don't have no idea. I don't know how to. It sounds like
No,
way
that was
too
pretty
fast.
good. That was pretty good. For somebody who
The
doesn't
information
know.
is probably completely wrong, though.
It doesn't matter.
I stayed at a Holiday Inn and I watched some Die Hard movies.
All right, if you got that totally wrong, just write into the show. It's ITY at
So
directionsmusic.org.
PHILLYD. You gotta send it to me. You don't want
I would
anyone
like
else.
to pretend I have a boat so I can name it Just the Tip. Because when you're entering marinas, you have to request permission to enter.
Let's just see how
So
it
I would
feels.
have to request permission to enter Just the Tip.
Just a tip. Just to see how it feels. And then maybe ouch your on my hair. Just saying.
I think it's appropriate timing for a preface from both of you. I don't even think you've been drinking. I don't think you're a drinker. Like, what is going on here?
Hey, JD. Thanks for the sport.
It's like a little kid's clubhouse I've stumbled upon here.
That's what this is.
Yeah. Oh, God. Where's Captain No when you need him?
Telling you.
I'm telling you. Focus.
Dude, when I re-listened to that episode to because I mean,
He makes him laugh.
Awesome.
He makes him laugh a lot. What happened?
it's one that's one of the most memorable components. It's one of the most memorable components
You make yourself laugh.
of. Well, I really enjoy that scene. I think that scene is hilarious. And then anytime we can do the again when we bring it back around, especially if it comes out of freaking left field Albuquerque kind of a thing. It's you got me good with it, and I had to go with it, and it was freaking hilarious.
Got me right here.
I think JD lost elevation.
Pull up. Yeah, no,
We'll get the vector, Victor.
well, the technical difficulties will happen. However,
Well, right now satellites are linking up and all kinds of
hilarity will always ensue. So the show will go on. It's okay. It's just
don't
less
talk about it,
informative at this point.
Just don't talk about it. It makes a curl back.
There are much less truth facts likely to come out at this point.
Well, even truth fact isn't truth.
It's a fact.
It's a quote from
that it's
a
the
show.
truth.
I mean,
that makes it real if it was on TV. I mean, the TV doesn't lie to you, right?
well, I mean, it's by extension the internet.
But the internet never lies either.
No, not at all. Everything on the internet is true.
This is my boyfriend. He's a French model. Bonjour. Oh my God, that commercial is friggin' hilarious.
That's to make me commit alcohol abuse.
I mean, hey, dude, do you want to spray booty everywhere? Oh, I'm sorry. I gotta. Oh, yeah. I'm just getting
when I was
from
a younger
under
man,
the
I wanted
weather.
to spray booty everywhere, but yeah.
booty. It's quite all right.
I'm fine being a homebody now. I'm just good.
Home booty.
A home booty.
I keep my booty at home. That's where it's at.
Ain't nothing wrong with my A.
Oh my God, yes, that was good.
What was that from?
Was
Golden Child. Golden Child.
I was
should be
getting
right
there,
there.
and you already took it from me.
It was
Yeah, Eddie Murphy.
wait, what was it? Yak something?
Oh God. Yak balls.
Something.
I think it was yak balls.
Good, yeah, good keep your yang up.
Ain't nothing wrong with my yang. Yeah, no, that's yak balls. Oh man,
It looked like beef jerky. He just picked it up off the counter and the guy told him, he's like, nah. He like threw it down like it was poisonous. Scary. Yeah, it was something balls, something. Like,
yeah, I want to say yak balls. Why are we talking about this right now? What is
don't
going
know.
on here?
That's what happens when wait.
Is this what happens when we no longer have a fact checker that's online with us? Yeah, I mean that will happen.
That will happen.
It's things like sex in here. Well, we lost our fact checker. Started talking all sorts of horrible things, and then, just,
What happened was
yeah, well, can't write this, nor would you want to. Let's be honest. That would be a very depressing, lonely existence.
so bad. We've had this conversation. I would feel so bad for whoever it is that has to write this dialogue.
You know what the ironic part is at some point we're gonna have like a show producer that's just like, all right, so what we're gonna have to do is make sure that we go from this point to this point. It's just like,
What's funny is
isn't
like
this the guy we've been making fun of for the past couple of
the
years?
stuff that I find most humorous tends to be in that vein, though, of just kind of off the cuff, synergy that people have with each other, this chemistry that people have, as actors that just. That's why I was saying things like Ghostbusters, you can't really recreate that just on a whim. Like that just happened.
I mean, yeah, right. Between
They did a good job, but
well, right. I mean, between Dan Aykroyd and Bill Murray. I mean, even Ernie Hudson. He had his absolute component to it that really did round out the team nicely. But I mean, then you're also talking about the freaking secretary.
That wasn't planned out. Like that just happened.
What was her name? What's the secretary? What's her name? Janine.
Yes, for the movie. Yeah, Janine.
Yeah, Janine Melnick. Is that what it is? I feel like
Melnick. That reminds me of Alf for some reason.
That's from the planet is like Malnack. Some shit like that. I feel like, dude, if we had a fact checker, we could back this shit up right now.
Alf's home planet. Something like that.
Malnack?
Malnax? I don't know. Yeah, look it up. I don't know.
Marnack 7? I have no idea.
We're still, that's right. I don't know what's going on. It's like the green room continues.
Well, what I'm saying is I think we should just wait, and then when she can, she'll pop back and we can see it. It'll come in for us.
I might as well try. Put myself out there. I'm just
nobody wants you to put your stuff out
even
there.
if it hurts.
Oh my God.
Most especially
If it hurts, you're doing it wrong, bro. Remember, Oklahoma.
even
Oklahoma.
That's your word.
Did you say hi to the flag and Yes, I did. What was the Naked Gun movie where they had that too? Was it like 2.5 or was it what the heck was it? What was the third one? 33 and a third or some shit?
Something like that.
Oh, yeah, they were like in the sex shop in Hollywood or something. There's the freaking. You're like, oh my God. Things just flapping in the breeze. Oh my God.
So you're talking about Eurotrip first.
Well, I mean, that's what
Anyway,
inspired.
For anybody that wasn't,
That's where it came from.
didn't figure that
Oh,
out.
here's a fun fact. You made out with your sister.
I love Eurotrip.
I love you, Danger Mouse.
Although I need you to figure out how to quote that guy, the Cockney guy. Like, I want you to get him like word for word for that, like that spot right before he says, you guys take cussing to a whole new level or something like that. You guys take cursing to a whole new level.
Right. He's, oh man. Yeah, something about
Mearbles was
well,
the last.
he's at like a pub or something or other, blah blah something, and he's just like, yeah. So I tell the swamp donkey to lick me yobbles. He's wow, you guys are on a whole nother level of cursing over here. Yeah, no, actually, that would be.
You got to get that one figured out.
I have not watched Eurotrip in quite some time.
I feel like this needs to lead
you.
into another mandate of some sort.
Bro, we still got like 10 movies stacked on mandates, man. It's a mandate. It's like,
Dude, I'm just saying, like, if you've got
smash it together, take
you
it
got
apart.
some time in the next couple of days, I'm home. I'm just saying.
I do not. I mean,
Sorry to hear that.
I'm not, man. You know what? I got a lot of super awesome stuff going on.
Good.
There's been some good work stuff, family stuff, personal stuff. I mean, things have been like way on the up and up
Send
lately.
some money my way. That's all.
You have a job. You are not broke. Quit play. Why are you always asking me for money?
I could do better. I could definitely do better than I'm doing now.
Oh, but you're chasing your dreams, man.
I am chasing my dreams.
Yeah,
And
what's more important? Being honest with yourself.
and I don't know if I've given the audience this update, but because I have kind of been the beer brewing guy occasionally. We talk about that.
No, dude, like 2 weeks ago, it was like all brewing. The green room and area, it was all beer.
So
You were drinking your beers, talking your beers.
I've reached out to somebody local, like very local, and I'm waiting to hear back. So the chance to not only be an assistant, but to be an apprentice brewer.
Ooh, apprentice. That's like fancy.
So
Do you say that with your pinky out? I feel like you're supposed to say that with your pinky out.
You say that with both fists out, man. There's some Celtic stuff going on here. It's a it was a rugby team that turned into a brewery. This is what happened.
Is this true? Is this
No, for real.
I was just like, dude, this is some serious bullshit right now.
I think there's a military veteran thing going on, and then there's a rugby team thing going on, and it's in the spot where locally Prism got their start.
Okay.
So it's like you can.
Oh yeah,
see
back by the
SEPTA
train tracks and
trains.
stuff.
Yeah,
Right.
You can see the SEPTA trains go by. Like they're back in that area back there in the
Little commercial projects.
what do you call it? The industrial park.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, they're tucked back in an industrial park.
I mean, honestly, though, it makes for a great location. I think it's awesome.
For a brewery, I think it's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, the energy they carry, what they do there. I mean, it's a great local community. I mean, that's the one thing I can say that's really awesome about all the different craft stuff going on in PA right now, man. Across the board, like literally side to side, like coast to coast to PA, there's some really awesome local, craft, distilleries, wineries even. PA's really getting some solid wines going, man.
I really want to get into this, and if you're within the sound of my voice, just and I don't even know if you're a praying type person, but just think about me.
Send some good vibes.
Send some good vibes, because I feel like this would be such a great fit for me, and I'm really hoping something comes of it.
See, now the fact that you're asking for good vibes to come your way instead of money, I'm going to support this.
I like that. Yeah, that.
Man.
No, because that's really what it's all about. Because I'm willing to work for less than I'm worth right now. And
I heard about you.
no, but I mean, honestly, it's like I could be doing the boring computer stuff that I was doing before. Not computer stuff, but stuff on the computer that I was doing before. And,
Office space cubicle shit.
yeah. And
What would you say
basically-
you do?
But I'd have to do that from home. And I've told you, like, I would really rather choke on my own vomit and die than,
Oh my god.
than have to go back to doing that. So I'm willing to
I
work
feel
for
ya.
less than I'm worth until I can find some worth in what I'm doing, basically. So
Brew beer.
this is an opportunity for me to kind of weasel my way in. I'll take it, you know.
So I'll be honest, with his brewing capabilities, I myself am not a beer drinker. So for me to be somebody to drink whatever you make and be able to give you a true honest compliment, not even just like, oh, good job there, buddy, but like, holy crap, like I would actually drink this, which is difficult for me. Every beer he's given me so far has done that. I mean, so much even further, my buddy who's a brewmaster.
Not my mead so much though, because I tried that one lately, and that just we'll get into that. But
Wait, but you know, the first time you ever brewed anything, we actually cracked them on air and had my buddy who's a brewmaster. I mean, he's a 6-time Great American Beer Fest judge. Like, this guy's got a palate. He complimented you. You made your own critique, and he backed you right up and was like, yeah, outside of that, I'd say you're good to go. You know, so I mean, you right out of the gate. He even said, he's like, you're one and done. You're down. You're
that
just
one
like,
was
that's
actually the one that we had cracked open was over carbonated, and that was one of the first ones. That was actually the first
the one that
I
was
did.
like super sugared and freaking
Well, but
popped
that-
on us.
Not all the, and that's the thing. Like, I was still new at it, and I didn't actually like. Part of that is stirring it up before you start bottling to make sure that your mixture is homogeneous. Because not all the beers open that way, is what I'm saying. Like the ones that I
Yeah, there was
brought-
only a couple that had done that, correct.
Yeah, not all of them were quite like that, because as an English style of beer, it's supposed to be less carbonated. And that particular one opened like a champagne bottle.
Yeah, it did. That thing was dope.
Very audible.
I christened thee the Wasp. Or no, the Stain Wasp. I think that's what it was. You know what that's from?
What?
Meatball. Oh, no, not Meatball. Sorry. Caddyshack. There you go.
Nice.
It's Bill Murray. I had Bill Murray. I had the BM in my head. And
Dude, my ears are killing me.
your face is killing me. Hey,
Guy. You.
What? I didn't do it this time. I promise.
So, I don't,
What? I didn't, you know.
no, I'm just.
Well, I mean, you know, this is what happens sometimes. This is a problem that we become too reliant on our fact checker that you feel lost without her. You're like, oh, like a scared little pup in the woods.
She's a dear, sweet, lovely addition to the show.
Lovely,
Lovely, lovely.
rabbit.
Because we can always turn to her and she keeps us on track, man. I'm just saying.
Except for when she falls asleep on us. But apparently she only falls asleep when you start talking beer. I mean, I don't. I was intrigued by your discussions
she
and
fall asleep,
statements.
like, what happened? Like,
I mean, it could have been the UFOs again or the jets. You know, she is near a military base.
She's flying.
She could be, yeah, she probably dealing with a Cessna situation right now.
oh, that's true with the headset. Maybe.
Yeah,
was
she
called
was,
in
so she is
to work
way
the
more
tower.
preoccupied.
Okay.
Yeah, we are
Rusting to fly by.
small potato. Negative Ghost Rider pattern is full. I'm going to do it. Don't do it, Mav. I'm doing it. Don't do it, Mav. I'm buzzing the tower. Oh,
I haven't
guys.
seen the new one yet.
Neither have I.
Okay. Have you
I'm,
the new Top Gun?
No.
Not about it, or
No, I won't go.
I won't go.
skip it.
I'll wait until it comes out. can watch it for
I'm
free.
yeah, I'm not only am I going to wait till it comes out, I'm going to wait till it comes out to the point where, you know, it's like $3 or something to rent.
I haven't heard anything terrible about it yet. That it was
haven't heard anything good about it either.
like, well, I mean, is it just a homage piece? Homage. It's pronounced homage.
It's homage. Yeah, no, I think it's from what I'm to understand, it's a more or less continuation almost.
Okay.
So now he's a seasoned pilot who is becoming one of the instructors.
Okay.
So now he's a part of the teaching program, you know, for fighter school, you know, Miramar and all that kind of stuff.
So it's a new Maverick and Goose.
It's him after all of this stuff. So there's obviously going to be things that they're probably going to, I mean, I would assume the obvious is they're going to draw from the original where he's going to have that remorse or bad thoughts or, you know, this is my fault or somehow or another.
He'll meet the big pilot that flipped him off.
You're right. Yeah, I like that. That would be freaking like, hey, remember me? Be like, what? And he's just upside down, you know, flipping him off. Be like, I got a new plane, bro. Yeah, I would go watch that in the if I knew that scene alone was in there. Be like, you know what? I'm gonna go watch that movie now.
If we had a fact checker right now, maybe we could see what's actually.
Like, hey, can you pull up? Is there an extension of the middle finger joke in Top Gun? If not, there should be. There better be some outtakes or something.
Talk to her like she's still here, and just even though she
We did that when she was asleep. It did not work out
did
well.
not work out well. Oh, just backed ourselves into a hole and then looked for help, and there was no one there.
I'm pretty sure we kind of continuously tangented.
So what do you think? Oh, never mind.
I know. Can you look up? Hey, go look this up, and we just kept going, and then all of a sudden it's just like, hey, wait a minute, we never got an interjection. What happened here?
We didn't even say anything for a while. It was just like, oh, she's doing something now. You're giving me the axe.
Well, but I mean, in my defense in that representation, she looked as if it was just frozen picture, which has happened.
She might have had a loop.
Yeah, she was asleep.
She was out.
It was a live feed. She was asleep, and we called her out on it at the end of the show. And
then 2 episodes later, I did the same thing.
no, it was prior to her.
Oh, okay.
That's because you even made comment. You're like, well, at least it wasn't me this time.
See, he listens to all the content, so he remembers.
Well, it's because I mean, I honestly re-listen because I have to make sure everything that we repump out as it goes across stuff. It's like, you know,
Audio continuity.
correct. I want to make sure that not only is the audio quality correct, but I also want to make sure that there was no spot anywhere in between where all of a sudden something dipped out. And it's like, all right, so on reproduction, something happened and I need to, you know, redo it or just, you know, repump it or something. So, I mean, yeah, I double check because I want to make sure that,
Or if it's just me not putting it in my mouth. I have to put it in my
I can't
mouth.
do anything after the fact. No, this
So
is
I have to
all,
put it in my mouth.
this is always the external stuff after the math where, you know, it's, yeah, you know, on our alternate platforms when we're pumping that stuff out, I want to make sure our people don't get, you know, 15 minutes of conversation. Then all of a sudden it's just, there's only pictures and there's no audio. It's like, what the heck happened? You know?
Where did
I mean,
you go? I'm scared. I'm all alone.
yeah, pretty much.
What happened?
Dude, you know what so when you're in the dark, you're not afraid that you're alone in the dark. Think about that.
When you're in the dark,
Yeah, you're not scared because you're afraid that you're alone in the dark.
you're afraid that something else is there with you.
Bingo. Oh, you get a gold star for today, buddy.
Well, I don't know. What's scarier?
Can't see it.
The thought that there's absolutely nothing out there.
See, I would say from a psychological perspective,
Like when you
I
get
would
to
agree with
that
that
point,
part.
like where, you know, you were in total isolation. I mean, like, and I want to do this again. I thought it was really cool, but like there's this thing called like floating, like where you create a chamber.
Sensory deprivation.
It's a sensory deprivation tank is basically what it is, but you create a chamber that's got such it's a salt saturated solution that causes you to float basically on this very close to the surface,
Right.
almost like you're on Mercury, but not as toxic.
I was going to say the planet or
The element, whatever. So it's like Epsom salts. Like you saturate this basically enclosed tub with Epsom salts to the point where it's so much heavier than your own body weight that you actually float near the surface. And you can choose to play music in the thing, or you can just have it complete silence. And it's when you do it right, there's absolutely no light getting in and there's no sound. And it's weird. Like we did together, me and my wife did a 90-minute session. And
Together meaning at the same
like,
time or in the same vessel?
Not in the same vessel.
Okay.
Like I think we were in the same room, but we were in separate vessels.
Right. Yeah, so separate chambers simultaneously. Gotcha.
And we could have elected to, I mean, I think at the beginning, I think there were lights just to get you, like the flashing lights, just to get you acclimated to your environment.
Okay.
And then it would settle out, and then there was absolutely nothing. And I think I opted for music, but it was basically like soundscapes type stuff. It wasn't like music with a beat kind of thing that you could.
White noise.
It was more on the aspect of white noise, and
Right.
And 90 minutes, it could easily feel like seconds or days. It's just you were so removed from ordinary reality, and it's a really weird experience. And I really do want to try that again because it's wild. It almost feels like a drug induced experience if you spend enough time in there, because it's nothing but you, your heartbeat, your breath. You can't focus on anything else. It's nothing but you. I mean, aside from having a religious experience kind of thing, like there's no other way to induce that other than basically removing as much stimuli as you can, because you basically feel weightless within this thing. So
Right.
it's easy to close your eyes and drift off and just be not necessarily asleep, but just kind of just floating there.
So I remember this one time
And I didn't fall asleep.
I was, I want to say early 20s. I was like 21 or 22. And I had to go get an MRI for my knee. So I got bum knees, too many sports and abusive sports at that, like extreme
At a
crap.
young age, yeah.
I do. I mean, between taekwondo, basketball, BMXing, skateboarding, boogie boardings, I did so much crap to myself, but
BMX.
oh, I do. I mean, freestyle, dirt,
motocross.
everything. Oh yeah, and I mean spills without pads because I was just like, who needs protection? So I'm getting a,
and I'm indestructible.
pretty much, yeah. So I go to get an MRI, and I have to lay down still on my back, but also get my one leg to prop up so that they're basically getting it completely separate from everything else. So not only do I have to hold this still, like I have to lay there and not move, but I also need to be, slow breathing, all this other stuff. And I don't know if you've never had an MRI, you get in there, it's a magnetic thing, and you can hear this.
Have I ever had an MRI?
Well, but so then that you can hear the machine discharging, and it basically like ka-chunk, ka-chunk, but it's very rhythmic. Well, I'm supposed to sit still, laid on my back.
What level it's on. It has different frequencies, yeah.
So I'm laying still on my back with my knee in the air, and I'm just focused on holding my leg, holding my leg, holding my leg. And it's just like ka-chunk, ka-chunk, ka-chunk. And all of a sudden I remember, I'm going from holding my leg still, ka-chunk, 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 to like, hey, you need to wake up. I'm like, what the? Dude, I was so narked out sitting in this MRI thing as it's just like loud, ka-chunk, ka-chunk, holding and I'm just like, did I do it? Am I good? And they're just like, yeah, no, everything's great. I was just like, oh my God. It's literally a Will Ferrell moment where I was like, what happened? I blacked out. I remember anything.
Well, and I'm not trying to trump that at all, but
Go 66 times in the head. Go right ahead. We all know you've received way more.
So I actually had an AVM. I don't know if I ever talked about that on the show before, but I had an arterial vascular malformation. So it's like a bunch of blood vessels kind of meeting together and having a party.
You come here often?
There's I guess there's a potential of leakage there, and that's what happened at one point.
Is it anal?
And I had basically a brain hemorrhage, for lack of a better term.
Right. No, I was kind of present for some of this.
And it It was. I was thinking it was some kind of crazy migraine, and I wasn't sure what it was brought on by, but I was for sure that it was a migraine. But apparently, it was much worse. I was actually suffering through a hemorrhage, and I was awake the entire time. And my experience was, I actually had to go. I had to go in for. They have a machine at this hospital where it was this contraption that actually has 206 points of cobalt radiation that they can precisely aim at a certain spot within your head. And so they do all these calculations and they somehow get it to focus. Because each beam, there's this whole thing. There has to be that many because each beam itself passing through the tissues to get to the focal point doesn't cause as much damage as it does to the target area they're trying to get when they focus them all at the same time on one spot kind of thing.
I get that. Okay.
So I had to go through that whole experience completely awake the entire time. And it's like basically think an MRI machine, but my head had to be bolted into a contraption to make sure that when they took the MRI scan that it matched up to the machine because it basically held me in position so that if I couldn't turn my head one way or the other. It was.
Yeah, I got the vision of how high with the freaking kid. He screws the tree.
So I mean, yeah, you learn how to kind of induce your own out of body experience in a way that it's not
like Fight Club.
Really,
yeah, go to your happy place.
Not necessarily sleep, like you said. It didn't really feel like you fell asleep. It just felt like what just happened.
Lucid dreaming, you cross over to the other side, kind of a thing.
I mean, I got to a point where, and anybody who's gone through something traumatic like this might understand what I'm saying. But I got to a point where I just the pain was in fighting what was happening to me. So I realized that the best thing that I could do was just let go.
I feel you.
So I remember, actually, I still have it. If you remember, our first dog that we had together, me and my wife, was Rocky, and he was a little Papillon Poodle mix.
Yeah, I remember.
Little guy. He was like maybe 15, 16 pounds at his heaviest.
He's soaking wet.
And so when I went in, like we had him at the time. So when I went in, she happened to find in the hospital shop, she found this little it was like a bean stuffed dog that looked just like ours. So I remember when they were ready to put me into this machine and bombard my brain with cobalt radiation in order to destroy this AVM that had grown to some kind of catastrophic size to the point where it hemorrhaged. I had this stuffed puppy dog to keep me company. And I couldn't even look at the thing, but it was something tactile that I could hold on to. And I named it Radio Rocky. And I still have it somewhere in the house. But that was a similar experience to yours, is that you kind of, in letting go, you kind of just go, okay, well, whatever's happening around me is just happening. It's not really affecting me. I'm still me. And you just kind of go into yourself and just disappear for a minute. And maybe that's what you experienced too. I don't know, but there's definitely a moment there where there's a timeless aspect, which I think is what's so confusing when you come back to reality, and now you're back in a 4-dimensional reality.
Yeah, kind of like that scene in Fight Club where you like it's the burn, and he's like, no, live in your pain. I don't know.
You just disappear into it, really.
But as always,
yeah. At this time when things get really interesting,
as shit gets real. Yeah. No, it's yeah, I mean, this is what we do here. You know, we thank you, fam, for checking in. You know, this is I'm telling you. You know, as always,
as real as it gets.
Yeah, Philly D,
Mr. Gemini.
Yeah, we no clickety clackety because we've lost connection, but you know, we got Jimmy Breeze in the house, so
yeah, it's been cool.
Yeah, and
Don't give him a chance to get a word in, but
Dude, there was positive interjections that kept the
Yes,
conversation
absolutely.
going. So, but hey, that's we lost the fact checker. Hey, you know what? Hey, I'm telling you, this is how it happens. And, as always, reach out to all of us if you can. ity@directionsmusic.org.
And check out Jimmy Breeze if you get a chance on YouTube. So, because he's got his own stuff going on. So, just wanted to throw that out there.
Yeah, and if you want to hit individually, Gemini, GEMINI at directionsandmusic.org.
Or Philly D PHILLYD at directionsandmusic.org.
Yeah, and we always say, be good to yourself, be good to everyone else, fam.
Much love.
Peace.
Peace.